Hello, how you guys doing? Welcome to Mamlakak Broadcast Network to another health bulletin. Here with Ambassador Coach Aida. How you guys doing today? Well, today we're gonna first of all, the reason why we do health bulletins here in Mamlakak Broadcast Network is because we want to make sure that you are healthy and you have the longevity to be able to fulfill God-given purpose for your life. Without health, you're not gonna be able to fulfill your purpose. So that's the reason that we do the health bulletin here in Mamlakak Broadcast Network. Today, our topic is time management. How to manage our time is so important. You know that time is the commodity, that's the most precious commodity that we have. Time is the one thing that we have that we cannot go and buy or get more. If you're running out of money, you can go ahead and work and get more money. If you're running out of food, you can either sow some seed that makes some food, or you can go and buy it at the store. You can ask, but when it comes to time is already a set time. You have a set time to have. So for example, if you have a date right now and you have a date, hi Ambassador Veronique, if you have a date right now with 3 o'clock and you get there at 3:02, 3 o'clock is gone. It's lost. Time, when you lose it, you can never get it back. That's why we need to use our time wisely, and that's why time is so very important, because once you get it, you cannot. Once you lose it, you cannot get it back. There's no way that you can go back to when you were 15, when you were 16. This is so important, especially for the young people that are listening to me, because the young people think that they're going to be living forever. So they say, oh, I'm young, I can waste my time doing this and waste my time doing that, not knowing that if they don't do what they're supposed to do at the time, because the Bible said there's a season for everything. So there's a season for you to work hard. Then if you don't do it now, then you're going to have to do it when you're 50 and 60 and your body cannot handle it. So that's why it's so important for us to make sure that we manage our time, because it's a resource that is limited. Now, yeah, we're going to live eternally with God, but that our time here in earth is limited. Okay, so let's put the PowerPoint so we can start discussing the topic. So go to the next slide, and let's see first what the word says about time. What the word says, if you go to the book of Psalms chapter 90 verse 10 to 12, it says, our days may come to 70 years or 80 if our strength endures, yet the best of them are but trouble and sorrow, for they quickly pass and we fly away. If only we knew the power of your anger, your wrath is as great as the fear that is due. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. So the Lord, when I tell you that our time's limited, even here in the book of Psalms, it says that we have anything between 70 to 80 years. Now, yeah, of course, there's people that are living more than the 80 years. Bless my mom that is 84 and she's still going on. But the average is from 70 to 80 years. And it says to teach us to number our days. 70 years, 25,550 days. And then 80 years is 29,200 days. So what is my day today if I count my day? Coach Aida's name, Ambassador Aida's name day is 20,072. That's today's date for me, my 20,072 day of life. So, when you read this and you actually do the calculation, you find out how many days you're supposed to have in life and what day you acknowledge. It's just like a hit in your chest, what I have done with my time. You go back in time to see what I have done with my time. If I'm using the time properly, if I'm doing what God wants me to do, did I do what I'm supposed to in the time that I'm supposed to do it? It humbles you, and it brings you back into calculating what have you done with your time. And also it make you aware, because once that listen, I'm only if I live to 80, another 9,200 days I have left, practically. If that is that the case, do I gonna have enough time to do everything that I want to do in life? Will I be able to fulfill my God-given purpose by then? Since I know by myself that I have wasted a lot of time before already, and that's why I'm not in the place that I wanted to be, by this time. So it's so important for us to make sure that we acknowledge our time. Okay, that we acknowledge in what day are we living, that we acknowledge that the fact that our time is not forever, that way we become more wise on how we're going to use our time and make it valuable. Because when we don't use our time properly, how that affect our health? When you're not using your time properly, you are not going to be happy. You're not going to be satisfied. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be depressed. It's going to affect your self-esteem. It's going to affect the way you feel, about yourself and about the world. If you don't do the things that you're supposed to do at the time that you're supposed to do it, then you're not going to go through the step that you need to go through to be able to do the things that you need to do when you later in life and you're there and are not able to do them. Okay, so that's so important for us to acknowledge that the time is limited, that time is not going to come back, that we have to work for it, and we need to make sure that we're wise about how we spend the time. Okay, so that we don't lose time, don't waste time, and be able to do the things that the Lord wants us to do, for us, and what the Lord wants us to do for the kingdom. And in everything that we do is directed to the kingdom. No matter what we do, is directed for the kingdom. And in order for us to fulfill that purpose that God has for us in the kingdom, we need to be able to use our time wisely so we can get the tools and the resources to be able to fulfill it. And when you fulfill your purpose, you also, with your purpose comes all you living, all your resources, everything that you need for your life, it comes with your purpose. And when you fulfill it, you're going to be able to live out of the same thing that your purpose is. And you're going to be able to have the health and the mindset and everything that you need to have in order for you to use your time properly. So that's very important. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide said in Ephesians 5:15, 5 verse 15 to 16 said, look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. The days are evil because, the days go really fast. I don't know if it doesn't happen to you that it is Sunday and when you blink an eye, it's already Friday. Time goes way too fast. And if you didn't plan on how you're going to use your time and you just let it, life go without any plans and without knowing what you're going to do, then you're going to be wasting a lot of time. And so that's why it's so important that we need to be wise to make sure that we use our time properly. Okay? Can you put the slide back, please? And then Ecclesiastes said, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. There's a season and a time for everything. There's a time to sow. There's a time to reap. There's a time to work. There's a time to vacation. There's a time to be born. There's a time to die. There's a time for everything. And sometimes, because we don't use our time properly, we want, it's like some people, they're in their 50 and 60 and they want to act like they're 20 and 30 because they didn't use their time properly during the youth. And they didn't get to do things that they wanted to do in the youth. Now they're trying to do it when they're 40, when they're 50, when they're 60. Okay, when it's not appropriate anymore, or it doesn't serve them to fulfill their purpose, or maybe they didn't do the things that they're supposed to do earlier, that it was part of training, like the education, like the college and things like that. That's part of the equipping you for your purpose, and they didn't get to do it. Now when they're trying to fulfill their purpose, they can't because they don't have the tools or the resources to do it. Why? Because they try to do things out of season, out of their time. And it's so important for us to do things on time. Okay, so can you put the next slide, please? So what is our priority as kingdom citizens? What's the first thing that we need to do as kingdom citizens? Because in order for us to use our time wisely, we need to prioritize. We need to prioritize the things that are more important, and then trick down to the things that are less important. So the very first thing that we need to do, our priority as kingdom citizens, is to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. So when we seek the kingdom of God and we seek God and the face of God, everything else will be added. Okay, so instead of us working like crazy or doing other things that we're supposed to be, that we think that are right, try to make money and not see God. Oh, I don't have time for anything. Like when you ask somebody, why you doing exercise? I don't have time. Why you don't eat right? I don't have time to cook all, the healthy meals. Or why you don't spend any time with God? Oh, I didn't have no time to pray. I didn't have no time to read the Bible. I really had no time to go to church. I didn't time to go fellowship with my sisters and brothers in Christ because they were so busy doing other things. Our priority is God, because once we seek God first and we put Him first, everything else will be added. The first thing is that we put Him first. As we put Him first, we are searching, we're seeking Him, we're learning Him, we listening to His voice, we are following His guidance, and as we follow His guidance, then we're going to be in His righteousness, which means that we are going to be in perfect alignment with God. And because we are in perfect alignment with God and we hear His instructions, okay, then everything else will be added. When it said everything else, is everything, your desires, your dreams, your purpose. Why? Because since you are seeking God first and now you are aligned, that means that your desires are aligned with the perfect will of God He has for your life. Because they're aligned with the will of God, the will that God has for your life, then it's going to be able to fulfill it, and everything will be done. Everything will be able to be done because God says that He will give you everything, all. It doesn't say this one thing and not that thing. He said everything else will be added. Every single thing. Okay, so and right now I want to put a video that I want you to listen real quick. It's about 2-minute video that's going to talk about how to manage your time, how to prioritize. Okay, real quick. So I'm going to put it right now.
There's a well-known story about a university professor who wanted to make a point about how we make the most of our time. The professor stood before his class with some items in front of him. When the class began, without speaking, he picked up a large, empty jar and proceeded to fill it with rocks about 2 inches in diameter. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They agreed that it was full. So the professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly and watched as the pebbles rolled into the open areas between the rocks. The professor then asked the students again if the jar was full. They chuckled and agreed that it was indeed full this time. The professor picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. The sand filled the remaining open areas of the jar. Now, said the professor, I want you to recognize that this jar signifies your life. The rocks are the truly important things, such as family, health, and relationships. If all else was lost and only the rocks remained, your life would still be meaningful. The pebbles are the other things that matter in your life, such as work or school. The sand signifies the remaining small stuff and material possessions. If you were to put sand into the jar first, there is no room for the rocks or the pebbles. The same can be applied to your lives. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are truly important. Pay attention to the things in life that are critical to your happiness and well-being. Take time to look after your health, play with your children, go for a run, write a letter to your grandmother. There will always be time to go to work, clean the house, or watch TV. Take care of the rocks first. The things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just pebbles and sand.
Okay, you can put the PowerPoint back. You see how important it is to take care of our rocks first. So what I think that are the main priorities are rocks for our life. The first rock is seeking God first. Is seeking God, knowing about Jesus Christ, and seeking for the kingdom. What for? So we can fulfill our God's will that He have had for our life, and the will of God that it is to bring the kingdom of God to earth, and He's using us in order to do that. So that should be our priority. The first thing that we do is seeking God. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you're supposed to be doing, and the first thing that when you are preparing your calendar, okay, for the week, or the calendar for the month, the first thing that you're putting every day in the morning is your time with God. If you don't spend any time with God, if you don't spend any time with God, you're not building a relationship with God. If you're not building a relationship with God, you're not going to know what is His will for your life. And if you don't know what His will for your life, you're not going to know your purpose. So it's very important for you to seek God first, that you spend some time with God every single day. Okay, you have to spend time with God. You have to build a relationship. If you don't build a relationship with your friend or with or with your parents or with your husband or wife, spend time with them and talk to them and conversate and things like that. You don't do that, you're not going to build up a relationship. The same thing happened with God. We need to conversate. We need to pray. We need to read the word. So not only to understand his will, but also that's the way that he talks us back. And that's the way that we can tune our ears, our spiritual ears, so we can receive and hear what God has for us. That's the way that we are in tune with the Holy Spirit, so we can feel when the Holy Spirit is giving us guidance, when he's convicting us, when he's directing us. So it's very important. That's the very first thing that we need to do. That's the very first rock. Okay, you can put the next rock is health. We need to be healthy, because if you're not healthy, you're not going to get the strength, the energy, or the longevity for you to fulfill the purpose of God for your life. If you are not healthy, you are not going to be able to fulfill your purpose for your life. It is important that you be able to be healthy, because if God have an assignment for you and you are not healthy enough to fulfill it, he's going to give it to somebody else. So you have to be ready for the opportunities that God have going to put in your life. For that, you need to be healthy. You need to be healthy. You need to be able to have the strength, the energy. You need to be prepared. You have to have the knowledge. Okay? And you need to be able to, if it requires you to travel, that you're going to be able to try. You're going to be healthy to do that. That require you to jump. It requires you to, if your purpose have to deal with children, you need to have the energy to be running after children all day. You need to have the energy. You need to have the health. So that's why the second priority should be your health. And the third priority should be your relationships. Why your relationship? Because God doesn't want you to do life alone. Okay? God doesn't want you to do life alone. He wants you to do life with the people that you love around you and the people that he put around you, because he put divine connections around you to help you fulfill your God-given purpose and to do life. And you won't be able to do that if you don't have good healthy relationships around us. So it's very important to do that. Why I say that those three things are that should be the rock. The first three things that when you're planning your calendar, you're putting that into your calendar. Why? Because when you are having God first in your life, okay, you're going to have the faith. You're going to have the hope. When struggles come to your life, you're going to be able to handle it. Because when tribulation comes to your life, you're going to be able to handle it, because God is there with you. Okay, your faith is going to push you forward no matter what. Plus, you're not going to have identity issues, because you know who you are in Christ. You know that you can do all things in Jesus Christ that strengthens you. So you're going to be able to do everything that God wants you to do, because you have God with you. And when that happens, then you're in peace. Now, when you have the health, then you're going to have the energy, okay, to do whatever the work that God has for you brings. Because you're going to have the energy, you're going to have the mental fortitude to do it, to handle it, whatever work that you have to do, and you're going to have the longevity to be able to do it as long as the Lord needs you to do it. So that's why it's so important for us to be healthy. And why it's so important to have the relationships and nurture good relationships? Because when you have healthy relationships, first of all, when it comes to your family and your spouse, your children and your spouse, okay, when you know that you have healthy relationships, that you know that everybody's in peace, that everybody feels loved, that everybody have your attention, you know that you can do what you need to do, okay, in peace, and you're going to be in peace because you know that they're doing good, because you are spending time with them. You know they're doing good. You know that you're sowing into their life. You know that you're spending time with them. You know you are acknowledging them. Okay, so that way you're going to be able to feel free to do the things that you need to do. So that's why that is so important. When you have those three things, when you know that God is with you, when you know that you're healthy, and you know that your family, you can do anything. You can do anything else. So those are the first three things. Those are the big rocks that you have to put in your jar. Those are the first three rocks that you have to put in your jar. Now, how do you going to do this? Well, sometimes people say, when it comes to time management, people like to multitask. But I say, no, don't multitask. Let's harmonize. Why? Because multitasking is the performance of more than one task at a time. Usually, when we're doing more than one task at a time, something is not going to get done right. either something is not going to get done right, or all the things are not going to get done right, because you're going to be doing everything halfway because you're trying to do 20 things at the same time. So multitasking is not so good. I know that us as women, we love to brag at the fact that we can multitask and I can do 20 things at the same time, and we do this and we do that, and it's true. I mean, as a woman, we do sometimes because we have to. We have no choice. We have too many hats, and sometimes we do so many things at the same time. But that is not the way to manage your time, because then when things are not done right, things are gonna break in the middle of your way. Something's gonna be wrong, that you're gonna have to do it again. And that means wasting time, because something that you did before, you're gonna have to do it again if you have to fix it. Or maybe something that you did halfway, now it doesn't work the way it's supposed to work, and it's not gonna do the job that it's supposed to do 100%. So you're gonna have to bring something else to complete that work. So that's why multitasking is not so good. But harmonizing is different, because harmonizing what it means is to be suitable together, or to make different people, plans, situation, etc., suitable to each other. It's combining a highly focused task. When it comes to time management, it's combining a highly focused task with a task that requires little focus. Let's say, for example, let's give you an example of harmonizing. Let's say you have to, let's say you're doing a presentation and you have some packets that they need to be stapled. You have the packets all together and they need to be stapled, but you also want to have some one-on-one conversations with your 12-year-old daughter, because that's part of the things that you have to do. So the focus is your daughter, because that's the one that's going to contain the high focus. But clipping those papers together, it doesn't need that much focus. So you can bring your daughter with you, help you to clip the papers. At the same time, you can have a conversation and have that one-on-one conversation with your daughter at the same time that you're clipping out the file. You see how you harmonize in there instead of multitasking? So that's the difference of that. So when I was learning everything about time management, I used to have a business coach. She was a Christian business coach, and she taught me this method, and this method has worked for me very, very good. The thing is that we know that we need to make sure that we make time for our family. We need to make time for our health. We have to make the time for others. We need to make time for work, and so many things that we need to do. But sometimes you figure it out that we don't have the time. So she made this method called the Life Harmony Method, and she used a sentence to use it as an acronym. And it says, "A smart woman or man live on routine habits." So you can go to the next slide. So what are the letters signify? So the S is for spirituality or self-care. That means that everything that you have to do in the area is going to be under the S. And then on W or M means wealth for women, or men, money for men. It's all that have to do about making money. All the tasks that have to do with your work, with your business, with making money will go under that. And then the L for legacy, that means all the tasks that have to do with something that is going to remain even after the time that you are gone. And then the O is for outreach, everything that you're doing for others. Okay. Then the R is for relationship. So when you're going to spend time with your family or with somebody else. And the H is for health. Now, in spirituality, you're going to put anything that have to be, like when you have your calendar, okay? This Life Harmony Method, you do it weekly. So every Sunday, I do it usually Saturday night, but you can do it Sunday. Every Sunday, you're going to sit down and you're going to put, okay, what are my S for next week? What are the spiritual things that I put in the calendar? I always put my, because when I wake up in the morning, I have an hour that I do my devotional, I read the word, and I pray. Okay, so I put that hour for that there in my calendar, that I do that. And then if I do some worship time, because I like to listen to the worship music to prep before, I put at least I'm going to do 3 songs, 4 songs, whatever. I put it there in my calendar. Then if I want to do something for self-care for that week, I said, okay, this week I'm going to get whatever, mani-pedi, or I'm going to get something, and I put it there. But that's why you use the self-care for. Then when you go to the wealth or money, anything that have to do with work. So you can put the slides back. So you can put I had an example there. If you see in the part of yellow, I put what I'm doing this week. what I'm doing for what is my life harmony methods example for this week. So for my spirituality and self-care, I have prayer and Bible reading, and then for my self-care, I got a facial, a mani, and a pedi. That's what I'm gonna get this week. It's my birthday, so I'm gonna have some me time. So for the wealth, I'm gonna have to do some marketing copy for my business, and I have to do promotion for a new product that I'm selling. It's called GLP-1, natural GLP-1, and I had to create some reels for my social media. Okay, so those are my tasks that are the making money tasks. And for my legacy, okay, I had to write at least 1 week of devotions for my new book. I'm writing a new devotional book, so I want to write at least 1 week of the devotionals. And I also, for legacy, I'm helping my son with a class that he's taking for personal finance, so I'm helping him with that class as well. And why I put that in legacy? Because my son knowing how to handle his money and how to handle his finance is something that he's gonna keep even after I'm gone. It's something that's gonna help him to become a better person when it comes to handle his money. So that's why I put it in under legacy. So that's very important. If you can put the slide again, and then if you can see on all, is the outreach. But what I'm gonna do this week for outreach, I have to take my mom to the airport. I'm gonna take my friend D to grocery shopping, and I'm gonna volunteer for the teen mom. There's a service that I do for teen moms that girls that are pregnant. So I do volunteer hours there. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then for relationship, I have to call my best friend Marissa that I haven't called in a while. My brother and niece, I have to call them too. Then I'm gonna go out with my family to celebrate, and then I always have day night. It is important when we do this and we actually plug it into your calendar. It's gonna help you with so many things. And then for health, I have that I'm gonna walk for 4 days, go to the gym for 3 days, and then make sure that I prep my food to make sure that every single time that I open the refrigerator, I have something healthy to eat. So the reason why it's so good to do this, for example, especially when it comes to relationship, if you don't put it in the calendar, you forget to call people, especially people that doesn't live in the same state, okay, or doesn't live in the same town as you, or they don't get to see very often. If you want to cultivate those relationships, you need to put it down to make sure that you remember to call. It doesn't have to be an hour call. You can set 10 minutes for this one, 10 minutes for the other one, 10 minutes, to make sure that you're nurturing those relationships. And for example, I have a lot of girls, another ladies tell me, oh, but I don't like to schedule day night because I want my husband to be able to surprise me for day night. Listen, if you don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. Why? Because life keeps lifing, okay? And we keep doing things and getting busy, and it's not going to happen. But if you already have in your calendar that every Thursday night you are having day night with your husband, you making sure that you nurture your date, your marriage, because you're having a date every week with your husband. That date. Now, if he wants to surprise you any other day, that's okay. If he doesn't want to do you what want to tell you what you're going to do that day because he wants to surprise you, or you want to surprise him, that's okay. But have it in the calendar so you know that it's happened, so you know that you're spending the time. The same thing when I do like a mother and son day, mother and daughter day with my children. Even though they're adults now, I still do that with them. You can put that in there so you make sure that it happens. And all these things, you're plugging it into your calendar. And the good thing is that you have a whole week to make sure that you fill up all this. So let's say that you already put in the calendar that you're going to do the marketing copy on Tuesday, but something happened on Tuesday and it didn't happen. The computer break down, or you had to take somebody else to do something or whatever. You couldn't do it. You know that you have the rest of the week to do it. You just put it in another empty spot that you have. So that's why it's so important. Plus, the other thing is that you can harmonize those things as well. Because, for example, if I want to teach more legacy to my son, for example, I can take it with him to go with me to the teen challenge, to do the volunteer with the teens, and that's something we can do together. For example, with the marketing, I can get my husband to come and help me, and we can still have spending some time together at the same time. So you can still harmonize the things that you're doing together, okay? Still harmonizing, and you be able to use your time wisely, okay? So you can put the last Okay, and then what are the benefits of time management? What are the benefits for your health? And what is the, all the benefit for time management? You're going to be more productive. You're going to have more discipline. You're going to have less stress. And you know that if you have less stress, that means that you're going to have less disease, because you're going to have less inflammation. Your cortisol is going to be fine. You're going to be relaxed. There's going to be less depression. You're going to have more control of your life. You're going to have a more stronger work and life balance. You're going to be more self-confidence, because when the good thing is that when you put that in your paper and you know that you accomplished something, I don't know about you, but when you accomplish something, that feels good. That feels good. So that's going to help you with your self-esteem. You're going to improve your lifestyle. You're going to be more organized. You're going to streamline your decision-making, because you have everything organized. You can decision-making. And that good thing, the decision-making, is going to help you not only to make big decisions, but also small decisions. For all these people that are people pleaser and don't know how to say no, now you have an excuse, because now you have a calendar that this is the time that I'm going to spend time with my husband, and this is the time I'm going to spend with my son, and this is the time I'm going to get my money paid, and this is the time I spend it with God. So because it's already plugged in there, okay, when somebody come and ask you for do something and to do something that you know that you don't want to do, or that you know that you don't supposed to do, or you feel that you don't want to say no to nobody, then you'll be able to say no without feeling guilty, because you know you have something to do. Your schedule is full because you have something to do. So that's going to bring you more opportunity, more accomplishment. You're going to build a stronger relationship with God, okay? And you're going to have a better kingdom lifestyle. You're going to be healthier body, mind, and spirit. And you're going to have a healthy relation. You're going to be able to nurture your relationships more. So that's why it's so important for us to make sure that we manage our time all the time, okay? It is important for us to make sure to go back to that verse at the beginning in Psalm that tells us to count our days, so you can see in what day you are and what you're doing with your days. Let me tell you, when I read that and I had to calculate what day I am, that was like a wake-up call. Like that told me, Ida, get moving. You got things to do, girl. You're gonna be wasting any time. Okay, no more. That's it. So I hope this information help you, and you can use that harmony method. If you get my book, you can go to Amazon and you can get my book there. The book have the template there that you can use also as well to do your life harmony method. So you do that every Sunday, and then you plug it into your calendar at the times that you know that you have available, so that way you don't overwork. And another thing, remember, when I said the health part, you schedule even your cooking time. You schedule the time that you got to go grocery shopping. You even schedule the time that you're going to eat, because there's something that some people say, well, I'm not losing weight because they're eating like this so quick, and things like that, because they don't have the time. So you want to have the time to be able to eat peacefully. Nowadays people don't even rest, don't even sit down and eat together. So if you schedule it, you'll be able to do it and be able to spend time together. And that would be a good harmonizing, because you're having your healthy meal, but you're spending time together with your family and having conversation, so that will be so important, so good. So I hope this information help you and that you can use it, okay? And that you have a nice Thanksgiving this month, okay? And God bless you all. See you later.